want to talk to Mike. Mike is an individual of undetermined gender from New York. And Mike says that the ability to know God can't be found and that someone is wasting time as atheists and theists since God existing is a moot point. Mike, what do you mean?
Yes.
What do you mean?
I think we should stop talking to these clowns about God. I don't think we can discover him in the natural universe. I think our tools to discover are minuscule inside of the vastness of the universe. And even if we did found him with our science, I don't think they would even tell us because it would be so disruptive to commerce. But we should stop arguing with these clowns and basically ascend to agnosticism. We cannot know God. We cannot know who God is. The question is moot. It's irrelevant.
All right.
That's my opinion.
That's your opinion. Well, Mike, if it were just a college course in epistemology or in rhetoric, I would say, well, you're missing out on some good conversations with that attitude. But second...
I've been having them for 20 plus years.
Cool. So second, I would say by atheists, I assume you mean anti-theists. Because I am an atheist who does not believe in the existence of God, but I cannot say with any certainty that I would like to rely on that no God exists. So you mean an anti-theist, right?
Right.
And as far as theist is concerned, you're talking about...
dislikes the religion.
What's that? No, you said something.
I think an anti-theist is someone who is against religion.
Or against a belief in God, right? They believe a God does not exist.
Atheism. That's atheism.
Okay.
Anti-theist is someone who is against religion and dislikes religion passionately.
Okay. Well, we're operating on different definitions then, Mike. And then the other thing I would say is that, it's not an interesting conversation for us to have.
They're belief claims.
Belief claims. Yes, I don't accept the belief claim, but I don't accept that a God exists, but I don't say a God doesn't exist. I am an agnostic atheist. I'm open to being, I'm open to being convinced.
That's why I didn't. That's why I.
Mike, stop. Please don't make me do this. There's a back and forth. Let me finish my thought so we can just move on. I'm with you. We're on board. Okay? I'm the host. Let me just do this real quick. And you'll be happy with where I go. Okay? Rather than getting into the very boring conversation about defining these categories, no one cares. Go look at the 24-hour live stream if you want to watch that conversation, because we've had it like 50 or 100 times, okay? The real question, the real meat of your call is, why do we bother having these conversations with people on the show? Am I right? Unmuted. Am I right? Is that the real question?
Yeah.
Okay, then I got an answer for you. We don't exist.
You're not going to reach these people.
Really? So how do you account for the hundreds of emails we've gotten from people who believe in some of the kookiest theistic-y things that you have ever heard? And they listen to the show. They listen to the conversations that we have with callers. And they say, you know what? I started watching the show as a believer. I met somebody about 6 months ago. I met somebody here in this very room, a woman who was from Poland, moved to Chicago. She believed it. She was a Catholic, a Polish Catholic. And if you're watching, how you doing? Her deceased husband was an atheist. And when he died, she started getting into, as a way of dealing with loss, she started getting into atheism versus theism debates and stuff. It led her over to AXP. And by watching the show, by listening to the conversations, she deconverted herself. And now that woman is living a better, unburdened life. She votes differently, I'm sure. And she behaves differently with the people in the world that we all share. So why do we have these conversations, Mike? Because we're not arguing about how many angels can exist on the head of a pin. There are real people who are affected by these ideologies. It affects how they vote, how they spend money, how they treat their family members. And some people, heaven forbid, are in communities where they seem like they're alone. We have these conversations. We're lightning rods for people who are doing numerology with us, and they get to watch us have the conversation, and they feel like they're not quite so alone anymore. So people are converted. It matters in the real world that we live in, and it's a light at the end of the tunnel for some people who have no hope that other people believe what they believe. Is that enough reasons for you why we have these conversations, or do you want another one?
Am I off mute? Am I off mute yet? Can I speak?
Yes, sir.
That was like 20 minutes of mute. Wow. So whether or not you convince someone that God exists is irrelevant to the fact whether he does exist.
Okay.
Just because this person,
yes, that's correct.
You deconvert this person. I know you have very political aims in all of this, just as much as the religions do.
501c3 is an organization. We don't have any political stances.
Yeah, I might have
no. I'm not talking about the nonprofit. I'm talking about atheism in general. When we talk, we have an agenda. It's part of an ideology, and we can't really break from the bounds. But whether or not we convince people has nothing to do with God. God is unknowable to all of us.
So
I think that's something that we need to accept and move on from.
So here's the problem, Mike, that I have with that is that I have many friends that are very much believers of some stripe. Okay. And when I speak with them, okay, about a whole host of issues, don't need to pick any one particularly. Put your favorite hot button topic in this blank here for all the viewers at home. When I have these conversations with my believing friends, it is absolutely a super big deal to them whether or not God exists, because a lot of my friends will directly tell me, and I believe their sincerity here. They say, Elliot, if you really could convince me otherwise, I'm open to the conversation and the evidence. But because I fully believe not only does God exist, my particular understanding of that God is correct. And this is what he wants. And this is why I'm doing these things. So the reason that I have that conversation with them is because they have directly told me it is the underlying motivation for them to do or not do certain things in the world around us that could, and sometimes very much demonstrably do, always lead to intense harm. That's an issue, man. That's an issue for me. And as long as other people are still doing that.
But there is no political solution. You are not going to change people through our votes.
Mike,
we are dealing with people who are blinded by faith and vote that way.
We know that that's not true. We have evidence.
I know it's
Mike, have you taken the black pill or something, Mike? There are people all the
There are trillions of galaxies that we have no idea about. 95% of energy and matter is unknown to us. Unknown.
What does that have to do with anything?
We will not know what God is.
Mike.
Just be thankful for what you have and be happy.
Mike, there are trillions of galaxies that we don't know about. Cool. My focus is not on the trillions of galaxies that I don't know about. It's not even about the whole galaxy. It's not even about...
I don't care that much about Saturn.
I was going to say the F word, Saturn. Sorry. Sorry, all the Saturnophiles out there. My concern is the human element of this, Mike. Okay? It's not merely an intellectual exercise. There is a human element to this. You may have given up. You might be an angry agnostic. It says AG here. Maybe it means angry, right? But we live in a world where people believe certain things and not other things. The demographics of belief in this country and in the world are always in flux. Sometimes there's more belief in deistic explanations or theistic explanations for why the world is the way it is. Sometimes one holy book is preferred over others. Sometimes people get away from certain hate preachers and move toward love preachers. whatever it might be, cults, all this stuff. There is a human element to all of this. And what we're doing is we're having human conversations that many thousands of people are watching, okay? Now, it's not the whole wide world, but you got to take one step at a time. And every single person that sets down their archaic beliefs as a result of these conversations that we have, that's another person not believing in those archaic beliefs. And 1 adds to 2, adds to 3, adds to thousands, adds to millions. Now, it's not only this show. There's plenty of other shows that do it, but there's also the fact that we live in like a second information age where people are able to check facts and realize that some things don't add up. And also, the quality of life for many people increase, and therefore they don't have to resort to belief in magical solutions for their problems. They can actually make those things happen. So there's a lot of factors at play, and this is just one of them. But if you want to say that we don't get emails saying that they've changed their mind, then I'm going to have to disagree with you, buddy, because I've seen them, okay?
Yeah.
I'm unmuting you. I don't know if you were talking the entire time, but I'm unmuting you, okay? What do you say to any of the things that I said, Mike?
I say you're wasting your time. These
cool.
people are...
All right. Sounds like you're not listening to anything that we are saying. Yeah. We're not wasting our time. Thank you for calling. Thank you for showing people out there that it's not just theistic individuals who won't listen to the points made in conversations. It's agnostic people too.